Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be talking about idol anime. This video is titled something like Idol Anime Uprising. And yeah, it's of course kind of clickbaiting you. I'll be honest, I'll be straight. It ain't going to like become like the next isekai genre, dominate everything, you know, everything become idol anime, nothing like that. But I've noticed something interesting. I feel like this is like one of the cases where genre is starting to evolve in front of us, and it's getting a whole lot better. I can see it pushing up a bit more, and it's been around a while, you know. It isn't something like, oh yeah, they started making it in like 2018. No, like you can see definitely there was a couple of series coming out, you know, in the 2010s generally. But noticeably, I think in this year in particular, we have seen some of the best and some things that are really breaking molds, because something I've joked about a lot when I ever bring up idol anime is the fact that it's very formulaic. It practically does the same tropes over and over, and you know, you can say that about a lot of genres, but this one it has strongly applied to in a lot of cases. It does feel like a lot of them are just trying to do the same thing a lot of times, but I feel this year it's definitely been a difference. I want to highlight a bunch of the shows that I watched that I all think are very damn good for idol anime in and of themselves, or are just good anime at the end of the day. Even separating the genre, they are still goddamn good, you know. And like there was one, I would say, for every goddamn season, there was something for you to watch, and like it was something you would like. And then there's like a few also that I do want to mention, which are like technically idol anime, but are great, but you know, it's a little questionable. I wouldn't consider it, but some people may be like, yeah, that is one that counts. So I'm going to just go through like each of the seasons and be like, this was a fucking great one. The first one I have to bring up from the very first season is Idly Pride. Now this, you know, was something that I watched when I was more getting into it. I haven't been into it forever. I haven't been always just loving it, of course. So I kind of started around very start of this year, really experimenting with a couple of these shows. And of course, one that was coming out seasonally, I'm like, all right, I'll watch it. And I would say this one is absolutely impressive. If you are just a generic show watcher, you don't cling to any fondness of any genre, you just watch whatever. For anyone who has watched Your Lie in April, I feel that this has a somewhat ending very close to Your Lie in April. Not like it's trying to take from the show or anything, but I feel they're somewhat comparable endings, and I feel Idly Pride does it better. That's my opinion. Hey, don't come after me, I guess. Come after me, whatever. I don't really care. But like usually it's just like, yep, follow the formula, this and that. I've never seen too many try to really just go in and make a actual just sad plot line. Usually it's just in-group drama most of the time, but no, this was more towards the exterior. It was more of a romance plot that had been built up within the show, like a extra side element to the actual idol parts of it, which also fit well into the idol parts, as they were playing they were doing a performance in the middle. It was a song that fits towards the moment and fits into the story. And it really, you know, uses the actual idol aspect to, you know, make a very solid storyline go through. You know, it isn't just like, oh yes, it's idol, so it's just idol storylines, this and that. We actually saw an example of just like a good romance plot, something that, you know, a little sad, hits the feels. And I'm not going to go into too much spoilers on it, but it was definitely like an interesting dynamic. At the very start, it just establishes, yes, the famous idol, dead. Like, how many shows really just be like, all right, So character dead, that's going to establish a lot of the world. It's like, yeah, it was definitely out there for what it was. And just getting into being actual idol anime, which, you know, songs included, it has some fucking best songs that really beats out most idol anime in song quality. You know, for people, I'm going to get into it a little bit, but for people who are like, idol songs are all poppy, this and that, we're really starting to see exceptions on that. I would say definitely before I'm saying this Uprising is happening, I would definitely agree to that sentiment, but as someone who, you know, before really watching anime, you know, and before really getting into Japanese songs, definitely was just more of like, you know, rock and metal type stuff is like the only stuff I would listen to. I still got into, you know, idol songs a lot. And these ones especially, these ones are the ones that I really cling to, as I feel every bit of its development and design is just well done. There is some poppy sounding stuff, but there's also, you know, stuff that's a little bit leans away from that to a degree, and just it's good ass music. Probably some of my favorite voices are also in that show as well. But we'll get examples for people who actually like rock and metal within Cell-based mix. So that will jump me into the second season, which was Spring, which we have one show that I'll bring up later, which can technically count, but the one that absolutely counts would be the Zombieland Saga Season 2. I tried not to bring up like a Season 2, but I think this one just fits very well into it. There's technically 2 idol shows, but it was technical. So this is the one like real true good idol show that we got. Zombieland Saga Revenge Season 2. And if you guys don't know, this show definitely has a whole variety of music, depending on generally who takes the main vocal role for that performance. You'll probably get some type of vibe. So if it's Junko, you will get that fucking metal, all right? Genko Survive in this season fucking goes off. Like, that's all I'm going to say. Like, I'll probably play a bit of clips of it because it was, bro, it was crazy. I was kind of stunned on that one. They already did something like it in season 1, but this one took the piece of cake. And again, it actually holds good ass story. I do think like there's parts in it. So there's like 2 parts at the end. First part at the end that went on for like maybe 2 or so episodes, I didn't really care for. But the part towards the very end, before they do the final performance and all that, the stuff where they're just like helping out the community after like a tragedy happened, I really enjoyed that. And it was very good for a story to, it's very good like slice of life writing in and of itself. And I think that was very well done. Like, these idol anime are just trying to be a bit more than that. And I think that's something new with this year that I've really, really goddamn been liking. And from summer, we had Love Live Superstar. And you may, so now I have to explain the Love Live series. It is one of the more pioneer ones, one that really gained a lot of traction. It's like, yeah, this is generally how you do idol anime. So I feel like a lot of things try to mimic the original like Love Live show, and it tried to mimic itself as well to a certain degree. Season 2, I feel you could definitely see they're trying to, you know, catch back, not season 2, but the Love Live Sunshine, which is the second universe. I know there's like the whole thing. They're not second seasons. There's second seasons for certain ones, but there's certain like ones there's like, oh yeah, Sunshine, Shigaki-san High School, and Superstar. Like those are whole different things. You can just jump into it whenever. It's kind of like a fucking Gundam show, all right? There's like a bunch of them. Love Live is Idol Gundam, all right? So yeah, like that is something that definitely like defined what a lot of idol anime were, and a lot of people are just deriving off that and just doing it worse, and that's why idol anime, a lot of people are just like, yeah, it's not that good. You know, they may have that one they like, but I was like, yeah, the rest of them feel like derivative clones, and that's it. And I feel now like Love Live this year are trying to do better. They're trying to really better themselves by being a bit more experimental, because they've always been like, all right, we gotta have a large cast. It was like 9 characters on the next one, 9 idols, but 1 non-idol, one that just wants to like do composing. So like they just have huge casts of characters. And finally this new one, they're like, I think we can really just tone it down. They only did 5 characters, and they use that to really go into the characters a whole lot better, and it really shows. I think a lot of critics were, because a lot of people who watch idol shows are just like people who know they like idol shows, and critical assholes who just want to watch everything in the season and review it. But they're like, shit, this was pretty good. God damn, they're actually, you know, putting in the work, making them. They're working on the things, making sure it's not just completely derivative. Of course, it goes off the same concept of, you know, there's being a Love Live competition, and they're going for that. But they really go into every character a whole lot better within this one. God damn, it is. Love Live Superstar was definitely one of the best. I heard a lot of people go be like, I watched Superstar, and like, only Superstar. Yeah, that show was good, you know. So that's one that I highly suggest. Like, all these I highly suggest. The last one from Fall, which Fall is currently happening. So I think five episodes have released at this current moment of me recording this video. And that one's Selection Project. A little bit eerily similar to Idly Pride with some of its plot points. If you watch both those shows, you will know what I'm talking about with a bit of the like main cast to a degree. But that one also has a, you know, extra interesting gimmick of like, not just like, oh yeah, we're becoming idols, this and that. It has this whole like different world where you can compete in a idol competition, something like a shitty TV show like Big Brother, I guess. That's like the one thing I can think of. Like one of those drama shows. Like, so the show tries to mimic it by being like, all right, you can compete against each other. You all live in the same house, and you're going to compete to get debuted as an idol. And it's like, all right, that's a very interesting concept. And of course, they're going very well into, you know, developing each character. They were able to like break up the characters in the first competition to group them together and do developments in that way. And I think that was very well done. And I actually get a whole lot of variety of music within those ones. And again, if you like something that goes hard, right? The episode 5 one that I just talked about with the last group performance there for that first round, that one went off. That one was hard. That one went crazy. So yeah, there's really been a lot, and each one of these have been very good against almost all idol anime. It's like, of all the ones that have already existed, these are easily, you know, taking top spots on them and easily becoming like some of the best. And I feel like I'm seeing like a lot more, probably like one per season each releasing, that shows more and more promise, more that they're trying to put more production value and quality into it. This is why I feel like there's an Uprising. And of course, we had a couple that are technically idol shows. I think the first one that I think a lot of people thought I would bring up is Vivi Fluorites Eye, which definitely I think a lot of people don't think of it as an idol show, but technically Vivi is an idol, and that is her goal, to, you know, make a powerful song that, you know, speaks and resonates with people in a way. So it's technically an idol show. I definitely wouldn't count it as an idol show, since it definitely leans more on the sci-fi, but who knows? Maybe we are going to build more branches where it leans between the two, and I think that's a good example. Is like, it leans so much that I think it's a little bit out of that idol genre, but yeah, I feel like there's definitely going to be more experimenting with it, especially since Vivi was quite popular. Experimenting with the concept of like, we can work this in a lot more. Again, and we'll see more concepts that go out of the box in the future, most likely. And the last example of one that's technically an idol one, it's my very favorite anime of all time, Ubassumi, season 2. Again, it's technically idol, but it's like 99% sports, 1% idol. There's like 4 minutes of idol scenes in the actual fucking show. So like, I don't know how much I should count it. At least like Vivi had like entire like, you know, like song going through. Like the final moment is like a pretty, you know, much playing through the entire song. So like that has like a lot more time put into it. But this one only like 4 minutes. But goddamn, of those 4 minutes, this one has absolutely clapped every single show's animation for a idol scene ever, alright? Because it's stereotypical that it's like, ah yes, CGI messy dancing. That's like one of the biggest stereotypes. And Ubassumi, you know, has extremely fluent animation. It's enough, like no CGI. Like the only CGI is when it's zoomed out like all the way. So like the camera's all the way back of the stage, and that's when they'll use CGI, when it's like only 2 pixels moving. It's like, the animation on it, so goddamn good. You know, they're trying to set a precedent. Like, this is what we can have. We can have this good of animation. Mind you, fact, the drama in that show's fucking amazing. I can't talk about it all day, or this video will be 10 hours long. But goddamn, you know, we've had some of the greatest animation. Of all the shows that I mentioned, they also have some pretty good fucking models for it as well. So me in post here, there's one more example that ended up coming up recently, where, well, it just released the episode. It's one of the seasonal ones, so it is coming out fall 2021, just like Selection Project is. And it fits kind of to the same type of thing as Ubassumi, where it's actually more sports than it is idol to any degree. And that is Pride of Orange. I talked about it in a video pretty recently, but I didn't get to see this episode when I made that video, so this is completely new on it, but it has also a really good example of amazingly animated idol scene. Again, it's, you know, breaking the misconception of it all being just 3D CG model grossness. So if you hate CG and stuff, you know, you wouldn't be spared from idols. Nope. There you go. We're finally getting some, you know, without all that CG nonsense. And it's something I love to gush at. Particularly just doing 2D animation for dance choreography, it's just quite a difficulty. I feel like fighting animation, though they always say fighting and dance is the 2 hardest things to animate. Fighting, they've found, you know, loopholes, and often, you know, it's through magic type of things, like slashes, where it's just, you know, a beam coming after from the slash, and it's like a circular beam, and, you know, all the pushing back things with the superpower punches that push characters back when they get hit, you know, that stalls out time and stuff. Something like dance doesn't really have a lot of these ones that you see a lot. So, you know, I particularly think it's somewhat harder to do dance animation, especially when they actually have pretty good, like, choreography to it with, you know, more difficult moves, a lot of variety, not just simple stuff. And this is an example one that I think really fucking good, and it's in 2D. Mind the fact, you know, they're on an ice rink for some reason, so you have to have the suspension of disbelief on the fact that they're not slipping, first off, and second, that they're not, you know, shivering, because they are showing a bit of skin, just a little bit, which would be enough. But yeah, it has a really good animation, so it's another example of one really good animation. So this is a powerful on the idle part, I would say. When they do it, they really kill it. But yeah, just had to talk about that for a second. Back to the video. Like some, I think, are a little bit more tacky than others. I'll admit, I think Zombieland Saga doesn't have the greatest models. The more refined from the season 1 though, so you have to give it credit to season 2. Idly Pride definitely has some pretty good models. Selection Project, I don't know about the models. In some ways they're really good. In some ways they hit an uncanny level to a degree. I don't know about it. I don't know how I feel exactly. I can't actually air my opinion on that one right now. And Superstar, again, I think Love Live's been working in, refining models very well and getting pretty goddamn good ones going for them. And like dynamic wise, they really know how to work with things. And I think Selection Project, like exterior dynamics on characters, like, earrings, like stuff like that, they know how to get the fluency of it, so it looks very good, honestly. So yeah, but then there's some 2D anime stuff. Ubassumi coming in, clapping everyone for some reason. Best plot, they just wanted to clap everyone. Best drama, clapped everyone. Best animation on those idle scenes, clapped everyone. But yeah, I feel like with the current stuff that is released, I think people are saying this may be the best year for idle anime thus far. And I would absolutely agree to that. I look at everything else that is released and it's like, yeah. But this is like a ton of bangers that have been released. So who's not to say we're going to have more coming up? I know there's one that's going to be airing in the winter. I know there's one that's going to be airing in the summer of next year. There's probably something that'll fill in every single season, and we'll see if the quality is still trying to be on this up and up, and are we actually seeing a good evolution within a genre. We don't get to see it that much, where we see a strong evolution of better writing and better quality overall. But we may finally be getting that. I feel like a lot of people are putting care into these series, and I really appreciate it as a fan. And maybe if you want to look into it, look into stuff this year. It's a great year. If you have these biases towards it, I'm not saying to throw them away, but if you want, maybe the best possible way of shaking them off is looking into something this year. And hopefully years to come are going to just elevate, get better and better and better, and we'll have more shows. But this year in particular has been so goddamn strong for them, and I just had to call it out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys liked and enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.